Hey everybody, I took a whole bunch of extremely detailed high-end photos of this machine just the other day, as in yesterday, and Greg from Mecum says we can't attach the link to our website. So I'm going to go very slowly, very detailed with this video camera, with me behind it, over this beautiful machine here, show you in detail and discuss in detail this exact machine here as much as possible. So anything else you need to know, email me at huntingharleys@gmail.com. huntingharleys@gmail.com. On the YouTube, Hunting Harleys, the YouTube, I've made videos discussing the Murphy's grips, discussing the early difference in the spotlights over the years, the speedos, shift knobs, gas caps, custom paint, over 500 videos discussing custom paint, Harley invoices, letters. I've got so much documentation that this was done, it's incredible. It's all over the YouTube. Look up Hunting Harleys 3091 in the YouTube search. It'll bring up a factory custom paint, a few videos that was ripped down to the bare frame and repainted at the factory per custom order for Harry Molinar. And they repainted the tanks for an extra $17.75. $17.75. A 1941 FL. So I'm going to grab that and we're going to go over this beautiful machine. So if I have to put down the camera a couple of times to get some better light on something, we're going to do that. We're going to discuss a couple of the contentions of this machine. So let me grab the camera. So if anything gets out of blurry or I put the camera down, just be patient with me, okay? It's just me making this video. So, now if anybody actually buys this and starts and rides it, I suggest you put on another set of grips. These Murphy grips are incredibly rare. You cannot take them off of this. You have to replace the whole slider. They crack. You ride this bike like it's, hey, let's go on a road ride, you're going to lose these. They're going to crack off on you. And they're unobtainium. You're just not going to get another set. Forget it. So, what we have is a ton of nickel on a 1938 Hollywood green paint job. The only way this nickel got on there is special order. Now, how do I know that? Harley Davidson, the companies of this era, they did not, this is the Great Depression, they did not polish their chrome or plated parts before dipping. If you have polish marks under your chrome from this era, it is a replate. If you do not, guess what? It's not a replate. It's so easy to tell. Open your eyes. Just open your eyes. That's all you got to do. With an open mind, of course. That's how you know. Look at a re-chromed piece. Look at an original piece that's not been re-chromed. You're going to go, oh, wow, uh-huh. You lose all the fine detail. You know, the little engraved bits, like on the lights. You lose all that. You lose it all. Lose it all. So, here we go. We're just going to go real slow over this machine. You can see the original stitching in the seat. Got Greg's Fields books here right next to me because I'm going to show you something from factory literature in just a minute. We can get in here and see a little bit, maybe. That light, I hope. These are original little doodahs there for the battery. It's a nice nickel cap there.
So if anybody's wondering, these little spark plug covers came out in '49. They're Harley Davidson spark plug covers. Remember, it was a ridden machine. This stuff was new at one time. They didn't buy it for a year and park it. Nickeled rocker clutch spring. You have a nickeled shifter arm here. The rod is nickel. The speedo cable is nickel. The rear chain guard here is nickel. You got nickel here, nickel here. So when I bought Greenie, the shift knob was stolen at the auction. So I found this very cool factory visitor shift knob that looked very similar to what was on her and replaced it. You've got nickeled springs here. So all this is just to give you a really up close, detailed examination of this beautiful bike. Now, one contention is the spring fork. It's incorrect. It's welded. Oh my God. Well, this bike came with a sidecar. How do I know? It's got scratches on the frame. These are only happen when they're both sides because of sidecar use. And if you look really closely down here, we've got a sidecar only front head pipe because there's a rod that goes through here. Mount your sidecar up. Very obvious to anybody who's actually owned a lot of these motorcycles, like myself. So let's go look at the other side of the frame and see what we have over here. Come on, light. There we go. You have a little line of demarcation right in the same area here. There's a mount that goes here. You got to take the tanks off to take it on and off. So it's a sidecar bike. What happened to sweated forks when you put weight on them? Well, they broke. There's the rocker there. So it got replaced. Well, when did it get replaced? Well, if you check your lovely Palmer's book, it'll tell you. You got the outside flanges here, and you have no casting on the inside for your flanges for the grease. The sweated ones still had the flange there, it just wasn't machined. Different casting. This is a war era only rear leg. Factory replacement. It's a ridden machine. This is not a new motorcycle. This is an original paint. It's not a restoration. It is not somebody's idea of what should have happened. This is what happened. This is the real bike. So when I got it, it had the later horn. So I bought from Craig Taylor's, nice enough to sell me a nicer edge, a 9-bolt horn, and I took the original face off the horn that was on Greenie's, same face, and that way it was, you know, the face for the bike, and put that on. So that actual face on this horn is the one that Greenie came with, as far as we can tell, or at least once she came into my possession. So, but it has the correct 9-bolt horn. That was the contention. And of course, Matt McManus is like, oh, that wiring's so fucked up, it ain't even going to reach, and blah, blah, blah. Well, I didn't do a thing to it. Just bolted right up. Imagine that. It just bolted right up. Wow, who'd have thought? So, these are ridden machines. Has a number 17 lens. You can see it here. And there's no dot here. There's the Cycle Ray video I made. No dot means it's not a Harley lens. It's just a Cycle Ray lens at the auto parts store. They're ridden machines. The roads were full of rocks. Almost didn't have paved roads. Lenses broke all the time. Very common. So, we have nickel here. Now the air cleaner I got it with was a 6-inch, and somebody had blasted it and painted it. There's so much nickel on this bike. Look at the floorboard extensions. Nickel. Look at the brake, nickel. Look at the little slinkies, nickel. There's so much nickel on this bike. My feeling is the original air cleaner was nickel. This is the best original I could find, and this one has no indication it ever had a tag. I've had a couple of those. So some of them left the factory without tags. I think this is one of them. So we have a nickel brake rod, or a clutch rod. Now, the clutch rods, the early ones, didn't have this extra weld here. The later ones, 39 and 40, or at least late 39, had that. Early 39, but you put on what they had on the shelf. So we've had the bags off. I had the rear wheel off. I didn't put the rear chain back on. And a few of these glow brights were broken. So these are all War Era glow brights. I replaced the broken ones with correct originals. One of these had the header off, so I put two new stock ones on so they match. I put these glow brights on here. Okay. Now, Harley Davidson in Milwaukee, yes. Back in the day, Milwaukee was a very, very humid environment. And guess what? They painted their stuff on rusty sheet metal. Slapped on the paint. Very good paint. Very good paint. Very good paint. You can drop a frame or a fork and whatever. It's not going to chip. You might dent a tank or a fender, but it ain't going to chip. It does. It's very hardy paint. Because it's baked on enamel or lacquer. They varnished it and then they baked it again. So it's got a double bake job. So the Speedo was a 41 to 46. It's right in Greg Field's book. I put a Newell stock, date code 42 Speedo with the correct Newell stock face. This face in here is Newell stock. This dash I feel was replaced along with when they stole the Speedo. This dash is Newell stock. It doesn't match the rest of the bike. You follow? This is the condition of the chrome. How come the dash is too nice? Well, it got replaced. Well, how did that happen? Well, it was in a museum with over 200 bikes since 1971. People steal stuff at museums. Nobody's watching all your stuff. Ain't nobody looking, especially the employees. Oh my God, they're bad. And they take stuff. So they stole the gas caps, they stole the Speedo, they stole the dash cover, they stole the horn, stole the seat. I had to put the seat on. I got it from Greg Noble. Had to put the seat on. Okay, I bought these caps. These are nicer ridge caps. Beautiful Eaton caps. They're ready to go. They've been through the juice and all cleaned up, so they're all gummy inside. Cleaned up the tanks. Right, left tank. It's just beautiful. Nice view of the tank in there. Hopefully you can see it. It's hard to see what the camera's getting. But they're both clean, no rust. I had the tanks off. Other than what I just told you, I haven't done much tear down on the machine. I pulled the belly pan off. Matching numbers. There's a belly pan video. The rear stand is nickel. So I didn't rebuild the hubs. I didn't take the clutch off. So I dismantled enough of the machine on this side. I'm pretty sure I had to take the rocker clutch off to get in here. I haven't tightened up the arm yet. So I'll do that in case somebody wants to kick it over for compression. She's got plenty of compression, but we'll do that before she gets to the auction. So if you fire this bike up without a complete teardown, either you got the luck of the gods with you or you're a complete idiot. Roller bearings have to roll. It hasn't run since 71, man. This is 2020. So they're going to grind and grudge and loosen up those races. And if it gets enough sticky, you're going to break those cases and you're going to break those cylinders. And I've seen it happen. This is not my first motorcycle. This is not my first go around. I've been in business since 1981 and I've had about 10,000 motorcycles. So if I don't know what this stuff is, by now there isn't anybody in the world who does. Period. But I've got the documentation to back up what I'm talking about. So another contention. What's a 1940 doing with a 41 timing cover? Blah, 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 blah. Oh my God. Round and round we go. Okay, well, gee, this bike became famous for being in Greg Field's book. So let's go have a look at Greg Field's book and see what old Greg Field has to say about that. Here's the book. There's the motorcycle in the book. Look at that. And there's the bike again. There's 11 pages. Wow, there's the bike again. And wow. Late 1940. Look at that. 40 with a 41 style timing cover. So I guess you guys just with your mouse need to go check your documentation. So, another point of contention. Oh, boy, a big point of contention. What's a 1940 doing with a 39 style shifter? Well, first let's go back in history and figure out why they might have done this weird shifter to begin with. It's got a neutral between first, second, neutral, third, fourth. Well, the big clutch didn't come out to 41. Harley was trying to sell their 4-speed, and my invoices are full of 3-speeds. Almost no 4-speeds. Almost no 4-speeds. Wow, almost no 4-speed orders. How do you like that? What was the problem? The problem is it's called a weak clutch. If you ever get your shop dope out and actually read the stuff, they change this clutch up about every 6 months or more often, trying to figure out how to make it work because it would lose clutch in traffic conditions or under load. It was a sidecar bike. It was supposed to be under load. The owner knew that. Well, you ever hear a little thing called gearing? You can change your tranny sprocket. You can change your motor sprocket. So, in operation, this was first, third, fourth. You need extra weight to pull up the gear because your clutch is about ready to toast itself. You drop the gear. That's your stump pulling gear. It was ordered this way. Oh, no, man. Oh, that didn't happen. It's like, oh, really? So you're going to tell me here that this 1940 Davidson case, it's got a big giant 40 down there, right on the bottom. So I'm going to put this camera down and I'm going to pick up my phone and see if I can't do this. We're going to enlarge the picture on the phone and get it in focus here. Come on, phone, you can do it. If you see right over that little screw right there, there's a big giant 40. Right back of here. This is a 1940 case. Let's see if I can get better and focus this like this. Very difficult to get in here. There you go. There's the 40 right there. Hopefully the video camera gets it. So, anyhow, again, my email, huntingharleys@gmail.com. I'll be happy to send you a photo. There's no way in the world that somebody, after the fact it was built, then put in a 39 set of gears and shift gate on a 1940 case. You're asking me to believe the unbelievable at that point. So, it is what it is. The bike speaks for itself. The literature speaks for itself. Take the time and educate yourself. There's over 500 videos proving this machine and other machines like this were the norm. So you're not arguing with me. You're arguing against Harley-Davidson factory documentation. You know, it's like a broken wheel. It's like, I can't get off and fix my wheel because I've said it for 30 years, so therefore it's got to be correct. That's what everybody else is doing. And as promised, when I bought this machine, I'm going to slap you down with my documentation. And I did. That's what it is. See you guys at the auction. Bye-bye.